Hi, this is Madcat, the egalitarian that discusses this or that. Today we'll be discussing, is it right to hate feminists for their radicals? As always, I didn't prepare anything for this moment, so just remember something I said last time. Well, I've only really said two things, so I guess remember my quote that it's not, you don't judge a movement by its extremists, you judge a movement by how it handles its extremists. All right, so once again, we're pulling from Tumblr, a post by a feminist who seems to make an adequate point, but it's a very flawed discussion. Now, part of my working on the video for this today involved a discussion with Honey Badger radio personalities Typhon Blue, and Hannah Wallen. I do talk to them on a number of occasions, and they had a lot to say on this, and I pulled a couple of their comments today to put into this video. So I will be going over some of that today. So our post actually comes from a conversation between Tinkerbell112 and Privileged Little Cunt. Oh no, he said that one word we're not supposed to say. Grow up. All right, so starting off with Tinkerbell112. Now, I didn't really do a whole lot of research into Tinkerbell here. The quick about. Oh, hey, my name is Angelie, and this is my blog. It's a mixture of many things I enjoy or find funny. I'm adopted, raised in Brooklyn, and now going to college at school in the middle of nowhere. Arizona is the middle of nowhere. Try again. I also happen to be a Disney princess. So you believe the middle of nowhere is in New York and you're delusional. Follow me for things about my random life, Disney princess, Disney life, my chaotic life in general, Harry Potter, Teen Titans, pink things, dance, and other ridiculousness. Well, I'm glad you said it instead of me. All right, so let's get back to Tinkerbell here. And what is it that she said? Now, I'm not going to read this whole conversation between the two, because in all honesty, Privileged Little Cunt was trying to piss Tinkerbell off. And Tinkerbell, let me give you some advice. Don't feed the trolls. I like Privileged Little Cunt. I follow her. I believe it's a her. Let's see. Let me do a quick thing about her. Even though I'm not going to discuss her, it's only fair that I do so. Anti-stupidity, pro-intelligence. My pronouns are douche, douchier, douche yourself. I love pissing people off and spreading common sense across the plains of this fucking ridiculous website. And I give no fucks about your precious feelings. Spells precious with a W. Topics of interest include fat acceptance and feminism and why they're fucking stupid, but I'll pretty much discuss anything that I find equally as moronic. Okay, so you get a sense of who Privileged Little Cunt is. And I do enjoy the posts from Privileged Little Cunt. There are times where she makes some really good arguments, and I do thoroughly enjoy them. In this case, she's simply trying to piss Tinkerbell off while providing some good points, and it gets into an accusation by Tinkerbell of cyberbullying. Well, let me tell you, Tinkerbell, if you think this is cyberbullying, you have no idea what it is. Seriously, you have no understanding of what it is. If anything, Privileged Little Cunt treated you with an air of respect, which a cyberbully wouldn't do. Yeah, she tried pissing you off, but she could have been a lot worse. So let's go ahead and get into it. If people who dislike feminism don't like feminism because they think feminism hates men, do they also hate all white Christians? Notice that she said white Christians, because the belief of Westboro Baptist Church. I mean, if they think that a couple of fun, and I think she's meaning fundamentalists or fundies, as she later says, does represent a whole group, and I think it just sort of cut off there. Let me see. I think a couple of fundies does represent a whole group, and I think picketing veteran funerals is a bit more problematic than threats on the internet. Well, here's the fun part is you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Okay, so let's break this down here. We're talking about radical feminists within the movement who do all of these bad things, and you're saying that you cannot hate a movement such as feminism for its radical element. Okay, there's some merit of truth. But then you say, well, that's like hating white Christians because of the Westboro Baptist Church. Now you're making this a race thing. You went from sexism to religion to race. It's amazing how you did that, and you don't see that you did anything wrong. You could have just said, that's like hating Christians for Westboro Baptist Church. You had to specifically say white Christians. Not Christians, white Christians. Which tells me that you have a little bit of racism in you. But well, we won't discuss that here today. So, what's wrong with this statement? Let's go ahead and take the white out. White out, get it? Ha ha ha. Let's take the race element out of this. Let's just say that if you hate fundamental feminists, that's like saying you hate Christianity for the Westboro Baptist Church. Well, I actually have many reasons not to like Christianity. There are some good Christians out there, and I do support them and say, you know what, more power to you. I wish there were more Christians out there like you. And yeah, one of the many reasons I don't like Christianity has to deal with the Westboro Baptist Church. Now, I don't look at Westboro Baptist Church and say that all Christians are like that, nor do I say that about feminists, saying that all feminists are like the radicals. But there's a fundamental flaw in your logic that I don't think you quite understand. The difference between the radical feminists and the Westboro Baptist Church is the effect, the impact they have on society, the impact they have on our culture. Yeah, Westboro Baptist Church has signs that God is against homosexuals, and that's the reason why there's all these bad things. And, you know, like the KKK, I hope they die in a fiery death. I don't like them. I hate them. I don't hate Christianity. I don't like Christianity, but I don't hate them. But I do hate the Westboro Baptist Church. I mean, a lot. How does that differ from radical feminists? Now, by radical feminists, in this case, you're probably assuming the ones that are man-hating, given what your statement was. Those who hate men are the radicals, the fundamentals. And you're not like that, apparently. You're different from that. Well, the thing is, the reason why this is different is because radical feminists have had an impact on society, have actually changed laws, have changed policies within our society. Not just America, but also Europe, also India, also Israel. Feminism has actually done a lot of damage to our culture. So to compare radical feminists to Westboro Baptist Church makes no sense whatsoever, because one has had an effect on our society and the other one is just looked at as a joke. And now you're telling me oh, well, you can't look at the radicals of my movement and judge my movement. There's a lot wrong with that. And that's what today's video is going to be mostly about. Is taking a look at why that is wrong and really what is the definition of a radical feminist. Because when you're saying that you cannot look at the radicals for your movement, and we can't hate your movement because of the radicals, you're basically saying that we cannot hold you accountable for the radicals in your movement. However, most feminists out there try to hold the MRA, A Voice for Men, accountable for their radicals. They'll be quick to point them out. It's like, oh, well, there was Elliot Rogers, and he was an MRA. He went to their website once, although there's no browser history to support that. But he did, and he's your radical, and he's your Messiah, and you worship him. So, one, and yeah, it's a cheap shot to go after Elliot Rogers, but he was like one of the more pronounced figures that feminists try to say, oh, well, he's an MRA and this is why we need feminism. Why? Because he killed women. Because he hated women. He made videos about how he hated women. He was a misogynist. Yes, he was. He was very much a misogynist. And, you know, he was an MRA. I think there have been other that have been accused of being an MRA. And you know what? I heard from other MRA, even the Honey Badgers, talk about Elliot Rogers, and they never said he was one of us. They said he wasn't, and also offered proof that he wasn't. Because in his manifesto, he not only talked about hating women, he also talked about hating men. He hated men just as much as he hated women. He was insane. I mean, seriously, he was insane. Some had pointed to mental illness, and okay, he had mental illness, but he was a psychopath. He really believed that he was in the right about all this. But here's the other bit of evidence for you in painting him as one of the fundies, as you put it. You can't even spell out the fucking word. You have to be all cute. Oh, well, it's just fundies. Don't look at the fundies. Spell the fucking word if you're making a serious argument. Fundamentals, radicals. Do that for me. Stop being all cutesy Disney princessy. Oh, well, we're just making all cute so it doesn't be as serious. Grow the fuck up. Anyways. So Elliot Rogers did kill women, but you know who he killed more than women? Men. He killed more men than he did women. In fact, he used a knife to kill 3 men before he shot anyone else. 3 men with a knife. Oh, I need to calm down. Okay. But he was used to try to say that, oh, well, this is what's wrong with MRA because they breed this kind of person, and they don't. But you feminists will use Elliot Rogers as a way to paint us bad and say why the MRA is bad. You know what, Tinkerbell? If you are truly serious about your statement, then you must love the MRA. You must think it's a very good thing and have no problem, not even with the anti-feminists either. If your statement is to be believed, I don't believe it because you don't understand why someone might dislike feminism because of the radicals. Now, if you've listened to my past videos, and I'm talking to you, Tinkerbell, because I'm sure you haven't or ever heard of me before, but for my fans, if you've listened to my other videos, you know that I classify the modern movement as the radicals and the passive feminists. Now, the thing about the passive feminists is that all they seem to know how to do is to distance themselves from the radicals, making others believe that they are the select few. Well, it's just only a few radicals. We shouldn't pay attention to them. Escaping responsibility of their movement, escaping being considered radical, and then shaming other people for disagreeing with them. Well, not all feminists are like that. And you shouldn't hate us for what they do. Okay, but then what are you doing about the radicals of your movement? Are you doing anything? No, tell me right now. Are you doing anything about the radicals of your movement? What's that? No, you're not? Oh, okay. But let's say that you don't support the radicals, that you are a different kind of feminist. Okay, do you believe that 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 women in their lifetimes will be raped? I hear a lot of feminists talk about this. What you do? Oh, do you know that you're supporting a radical feminist by the name of Mary Koss, who used a survey to ask women who most identified that they were not raped, but then used a few trickery words to insinuate that women were still raped, even if they themselves don't acknowledge that they were, just so the statistic would be high. What about men? Do you believe that men can't be raped? A lot of feminists say this one as well. If you believe that, you're supporting a radical feminist. Actually, it's the same radical feminist. Because not only did this radical feminist, Mary Koss, say that 1 in 4 women will be raped within their lifetimes, which has been debunked several times, also convinced the CDC that men cannot be raped, and that the rape statistic does not properly represent what rape is. She moved the goalpost. She changed the definition so that men could not be considered victims of rape. Oh, well, they're still listed as other sexual assault. No, it's fucking rape. You force a person to engage in a sexual action against their will, that is rape. Flat out. There is no, oh, well, it's forced to penetrate, or you can't penetrate a male. No, it's fucking rape. And Mary Koss convinced the CDC that men cannot be raped. Do you support that? Tell me, do you support that? Oh, no, you don't support it? You think that men can be raped? Then what are you doing with the other feminists that say it can? Do you go up to them and say, no, you're dead wrong on this? And I can't believe I have to tell you this, but you're wrong. No, I bet you don't do that either. You stick your head into the sand and pretend that the radicals don't exist, and then shame everyone else when they say, well, you know, I don't like feminism because of the radicals. And they're like, well, the radicals are not part of our movement. So you don't acknowledge that the radicals have any effect on your movement whatsoever. And if someone tries to bring up the fact that the reason they don't like it is because of the radicals, you try to shame them and saying, oh, well, that's like hating white Christians for the Westboro Baptist Church. Oh my God, you're a fucking idiot. When, you know, I want to believe you. I do. I really do. I want to believe that you're not this radical person, that you truly want equality. So let me ask you, have you ever spoken out against another feminist who has said these things? Have you ever publicly outed someone and not doxed, doxing is bad, but publicly gone out and said, you know what, I don't support what Anita Sarkeesian has said. She is dead wrong. Have you gone out against Zoe Quinn for the bullshit she's done? Rebecca Watson, Lacey Green. Have you spoke out against these feminists who are trying to destroy the fabric of our society because they want to have entitlement? Oh, I'm sorry, this just really gets my blood boiling. I'm going to guess that you haven't, because doing so would then mean that you have to admit that the soapbox you stand on is hollow. You can't speak out against other feminists, because you would have to then acknowledge that your arguments that you use are wrong, and you can't do that. Hey, if you give me some evidence that shows that my points are wrong, I'll thank you for it. That's happened to me before. You know, someone made a post about the kid at Target that got photographed by a woman, and it got spread on social media that this woman's like, oh yeah, I would so fuck this guy. And it got spread around, and feminists were all defending this action, and someone posted somewhere, I didn't really read it too well, that he came out as gay, and I mentioned that to someone else, and someone told me that this was a hoax. And you know what I did? You know, if I was a feminist, I would have been like, well, that's just bullshit right there. You're just making that up. I heard from a reliable source that he's gay. I thanked the person. I first apologized. You know, I'm sorry. I didn't look into this fully. That was my mistake. And then I thanked them. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Because that's what a responsible adult does. You know, responsibility, that thing you're not familiar with, feminist. But here's the thing. Looking at feminists as a whole and what action has taken in the modern movement, I would think that the radicals are mainstream. That all of these feminists that you claim are the fundies, that are the radicals, they are actually the mainstream feminists. So what does that make you who works outside of that? Wouldn't that make you the radical? Wouldn't that make you the fundies? There are feminists who have changed policy, have made it next to impossible for a woman to be accused of rape, to be sentenced to rape. There have been shelters for men closed down by feminists. There was a law that would have allowed shared custody as the default for children, that men and women get shared custody immediately, and then the decision is made from there whether or not that's fair. Feminists got that voted down. There are feminists out there who are drinking male tears cup, feminists who want to kill all men and will proudly put it on their Twitter, kill all men. Oh, it's just a joke. You shouldn't take it seriously. You know, if I put on my Twitter, kill all women, you better believe all you fucking feminists would be all over me saying, oh, well, you're just the misogynist, you know, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, it was just a joke. You shouldn't take it seriously. Oh, you shouldn't joke about things like that. Oh, well, what about when you kill all men? Well, that's different. If you're not one of those feminists, you're the radical. I know that might be a lot to take in. You might want to sit down to listen to this, but you're the radical of your movement. You're not out there doing all of these bad things, destroying our society. Instead, you're sticking your head in the dirt again like an ostrich and pretending it doesn't exist, and then saying to anti-feminists or non-feminists, oh, well, you don't understand what feminism is. You have to look up in the dictionary to see what it is. You can't judge us by the fundies of our group. No. You have to look at me and judge it based on what I'm telling you it is, not the actions of anyone else. I'm sorry, but you can't do that. You have to take what the radicals are doing and how your group of people reacts to the fundamentals. Yeah, I used the full word there. See how I did that? See how easy it is? It just takes another second to actually write it out. You know what? The MRA, they have fundamentals. They have to deal with them. You know, it's not a perfect system, but they do deal with them. And yeah, when I look at them, I say, you know what? And, you know, the question is asked, why am I not an MRA? Why am I an egalitarian? Why do I separate myself from them? It's because I don't support everything that they're for. That I do see that there are some bad members out there who are a bit selfish in their needs. That many are MGTOW. I don't fully support the MGTOW. There's no secret there. However, there are those within the movement who I do support, because they're the first to say, you know what, this is what we're about. And we're not going to just say that these people over here are not part of us. We will publicly out them and say, these people do not represent us. These people are bad, and here's the reasons why. And if someone tries to speak out against us, we won't pretend that they don't exist. We will deal with the issue. Something feminism doesn't know how to do within its own movement. Instead, you're too busy attacking the anti-feminists for not understanding what feminists are, too busy attacking the MRA for being rapists and rape apologists. You know, clean up your own house first. Sorry, my throat's starting to get dry. Feminists get the radicals, as you put it, the fundies, are the ones who are getting laws passed and policy changes. They're not the radicals, you are. They are feminism. It's the passive ones like yourself that are the radicals. I want you to think about that. I really do. Because if you disagree with that statement, then you need to deal with the radicals of your movement. No more of ignoring them and hoping they go away while they continue to pervert your movement for their social, political, and financial gain. You need to deal with them. And you can't try to put a guilt on anyone else for your own problem. Oh, well, you can't hold the radicals. Yes, we can. And we're going to. And we're going to continue doing so until you deal with them. If someone needs to fix the damage that they've done, and the MRAs are trying. We're trying to get it done. But we still got all of these little Disney princesses trying to say, oh, well, you just don't understand what it is. No, you don't understand what it is. We see it just fine. We see it crystal clear what it is. We got a lot of women over here trying to destroy it for their own selfish gain, and then we got a lot of them over here who are just ignoring what they're doing, but living off of their table scraps. Get your head out of your ass, and take a look. Consider for a moment that there's a reason why your movement receives hate. And it's not because we're all rapists, misogynists. It's because there's a legitimate reason why. Put yourself into other people's shoes and ask yourself, why are people doing this? Then ask yourself, what can I do about it? If you truly, truly believe that your movement is about equality and not just raising privilege up for females over men, but true equality between men and women, then deal with your fundies, your fundamentals. If they are truly the radicals of your movement, then you need to deal with them. Because the way it looks right now, you're the radical. Not them, you. I guess there's really nothing more to say from that, because in closing, look, we shouldn't be having this discussion. If you want equality, I want equality. Let's work together. But don't shame me for holding you accountable for your movement. You want to be a feminist, you take that for everything it's worth. And if that includes some hate coming your way because some fundy over here says kill all men, you're responsible for that. You're responsible for what your movement does. And if you can't handle that responsibility, get out of feminism. Get out. Because if you're not with them, you're their radical. You are the radical of your movement. You are the fundy of your movement. Because what have you done? What have you done to get equality between men and women in your lifetime? Posted a couple of things on Tumblr, maybe wrote up a report for your gender studies class and got an A because you have a vagina? Or have you actually done something? Have you actually gone out there and said, look, we need equality. Men and women are being mistreated by our society, and we need equality between them both. If you do that, I'll support you. Support what you do. But I'm going to guess that you haven't even done that. You sit behind your computer saying, oh, well, women are underprivileged and, they need more rights. But you shouldn't hate us for the fundies. No. You should just look at me and judge it based on me alone. Stop escaping responsibility. Start dealing with your movement. If you want anyone to ever take you seriously as a feminist, then you need to rise up and take control of your movement. And when I see your comment like that, that's what I think. Take control of your movement. If you don't want me to judge you based on the radicals of your movement, then deal with the radicals of your movement. Speak out against them. Because trust me, there's a lot of people on the other side that is more than willing to back you up if you make the play. It's not going to happen right away because we've been burned by women over the years. But if you work hard at it, if you really try to give an honest effort into it, you're going to find that you have a lot of support behind you. But of course, that requires you to get off of your computer and walk into the world and try to do something that helps men and women alike. Not just women, both men and women. Deal with the radicals of your movement, and I won't judge you for the radicals of your movement. This is Mad Cat signing off.